Russian forces have been shelling cities in eastern Ukraine, but Ukraine's military claims to have repelled at least 8 Russian attacks. Let's bring in retired General Robert Abrams, an ABC News contributor and former commander of U.S. forces in Korea, for more on this. Commander, thank you for being here. You know, the British Defense Ministry says Russian forces are using IEDs to inflict casualties, lower morale, and restrict movement in the east. So what impact do you think that could have?
Well, Diane, as you know, IEDs that kind of came of age in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and certainly had an effect on our forces. I think what we're going to see here is they'll be disruptive. They will delay Ukrainian counterattacks and generally be a nuisance. But I don't see them as being decisive to the outcome of the upcoming fight in eastern Ukraine.
Now, Ukrainian forces were able to defeat Russian troops outside of Kyiv. So how can they do the same in the east?
Well, I mean, this is this is the million-dollar question of the day. And so if you just look on paper, the Russians still have large numbers, and they outnumber the Ukrainian defense forces, and they still have a technology advantage. But what they don't have is they don't have the will. They don't have the morale. They don't have momentum. All of that resides with the Ukrainian armed forces and the Ukrainian people. And, you know, there's an old saying that the moral is to the physical as 3 is to 1. You can't put a price on that high morale inside the Ukrainian defense forces after their really, resounding defeat of the Russian attempt to seize Kyiv. So I think this is absolutely capable for the Ukrainian armed forces to defeat the Russian attack in the east. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be many weeks, maybe months of tough fighting, but they certainly have the capability as long as they continue to be supported and supplied by the West.
Now, Russia has appointed the so-called Butcher of Syria to lead its forces in Ukraine. What can you tell us about this general, and what does this appointment, putting him in a leadership position in this battle, tell you about where Russia is and what they want to do?
So I think some of the highlighting of this designation of this particular general is a little overblown, personally. He is the commander of the Russian Southern Military District. This is a natural, normal alignment for that military district commander to be the overall theater commander. This was a huge mistake that Russia did not make at the onset of hostilities on the 24th of February. They tried to run this through 4 different commands and manage the conflict out of Moscow. So by designating the Southern Military District commander as the overall operational commander, this is an attempt to achieve unity of command and unity of effort. I'm not sure that's going to be very successful, but that's what their attempt is. The other thing I'd point out to you is that Russian 3-star generals, lieutenant generals, cycled through Syria on 9-month rotations. And I would be willing to say that you could have put that same nickname on every single Russian 3-star who served in Syria.
Now, the UK also reports that Russia is seeking to bolster its forces with personnel that were previously discharged from military service. What does that tell you about the state of the Russian military and its strategy right now?
Yeah, I think this is, conservative estimates say that the Russian army has sustained 20,000 killed in action soldiers. And typically we have a wounded to killed ratio of 3 to 1. So about 60,000 wounded. So somewhere in the neighborhood of 40% of their initial force has been killed or wounded. That in 6 short weeks. So that certainly has had a huge impact on the fighting spirit of the Russian forces. They may be getting committed into the eastern Ukraine to reinforce what was already going on in the Donbass, but their heart's not going to be into it. And this bodes well for the Ukrainian defense forces. It bodes terribly for the outcome for the Russians.
And you said their heart's not going to be in it. Morale is said to be extremely low among Russian troops. How important is that, and how does that affect what happens on the battlefield?
Well, look, it's as we've seen throughout this conflict and in previous conflicts, You can't put a price on the importance of high morale in your troops. The Ukrainian forces have been fighting, terrifically, in fantastic fighting spirit because they know they're on the right side of history and they are outnumbered and outgunned. So this will have a significant bearing on the outcome of what happens here in the eastern Ukraine in the coming weeks.
All right, General Robert Abrams, great to have you. Thank you for the analysis.
Thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.